Well, hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. So, Remembrance Saturday. Here, of course, this weekend, specifically this weekend, and for those of you who don't know, outside the UK or anything else, we celebrate, or we have a Remembrance Day on the 11th of November, which is the actual day. Remember, it was the 11th hour, the 11th minute of the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month when World War I finished and the guns went silent. And then every Sunday after that 11th, sometimes it's before, it depends on how it falls, we have Remembrance Sunday, which is the same thing, basically. I mean, a lot of people go, why do we need two? Well, to be honest, ladies and gentlemen, let's be honest. What you're giving up is 4 minutes of silence for every single serviceman of the British Empire and the Commonwealth who fought and died for your ability to do what you do now, of which we're squandering and giving away. But that's what it's there for. And it is sacrosanct day, or 2 days, of British history and life. This is what we've always done. And everybody should have the modicum of respect to allow that day and those 2 specific moments in time of 2 minutes to stop and reflect and give thanks to those men and women who died and sacrificed their lives from way back in the day up until current day. You know, we're talking Gulf War and Gulf II and Bosnia and Afghanistan, where people have died. Now, the simple truth of the matter is, if you disagree with what the wars are, or you disagree with that, that's irrelevant. It's totally irrelevant. The simple truth of the matter is, if you want to live in a safe and free world, you must have people who are prepared to meet violence upon those who challenge you. That's the way it is. Men, let's quote, was it Few Good Men? Yeah, you need people on the wall to keep the barbarians at bay. And those people sacrificed the ultimate sacrifice. So when it turns out that now the Free Palestine or Free Plasticine people want to come out and peace march, which it's not, let's be honest. There's a good section of those people who are shouting anti-Semitic, vile, disgusting things. They're going to parade and have their march of peace. Bullshit. It's nothing about peace. Never was, never will be. What it is a march of supporting terrorists. Pure and simple. But they're going to have a march on Saturday the 11th. They could wait. I mean, you know, and he goes, oh, well, it's all to do with it. We'll have it on Friday then. Leave this weekend alone. I am not going to say ban the marches, because the people that we will be remembering on Saturday and Sunday died for freedoms. And one of those freedoms is a freedom of speech, whether we like that speech or whether we don't. They should not march on that weekend. They go, it's, if you're doing it, you're doing it on purpose. In fact, a little bit of a bombshell here, and if you pay attention, it's being done on purpose. This is being engineered to cause a problem. Now, veterans will be there. I was a bit surprised when Tommy Robinson was reinstated to Twitter, but now I know why. Because he's going to, no matter how much he pleads for it to be a peaceful thing, he is the scapegoat. He's the easy one to blame. Even though, of course, to be fair, what Tommy Robinson was saying, for the most part, was true and is coming to fruition now. So he's called for people to come down and defend the cenotaph. If anything happens at the cenotaph it will kick off. But it's going to kick off any case on Saturday because it's going to be engineered to do so. The media are already, I mean, remember that the media are, not going on about the hate-filled speeches of these terrorist supporters waving ISIS flags and God knows what else, terrorising people coming out of McDonald's because McDonald's give free burgers to people, to Israeli soldiers because we're that mental. Terrorising, flooding the streets for something that in reality is nothing to do with them. It shows that they don't belong here because they don't want to be here. When the value of somebody thousands of miles away from a country that you ran away from or have probably never even been to, but happens to be, part of your particular ancient and silly faith, if that's more important than respecting those that have died for your freedoms, that says a lot. But again, this is going to be engineered so it will kick off. The media are foaming at the mouth, chomping at the bit, already calling anyone who dares go and stands up for the cenotaph and the remembrance of our dead, our heroes, far right and yobs. That says it all. This is being set up. I can guarantee it I guarantee it's going to kick off. And when it does kick off, you watch how the Met Police will be able to stop the far right yobs. That's what the media see anyone who is outraged by these people marching on this particular day. If you are patriotic and find that the chance of them causing disruption to our sacred day of remembrance, you are now a far-right yob. Just so you know. The Met Police have gone pretty please, pretty please, pretty please. There's videos of them giving the peace sign and, joining in. They've also admitted, as terrible as it is to admit, because let's be honest, ladies and gentlemen, we have to be truthful, the police forces are stretched to beyond belief. As one guy did say, there's not enough of us. That was done on purpose. This is a flashpoint that has been engineered to be Flashpoint. And it will be the white people, the British citizens who are rightly outraged by this, who will be blamed. We will be the ones being arrested. We will be the ones being attacked with riot shields, no doubt, and sticks. And if you don't believe that, and the Met Police say we've got no powers really to stop this, I'll draw your attention to the student protests. I'll draw your attention to the COVID protests. I'll draw your attention to anything where quote-unquote far-right people turn up. The police have no problem in sticking on their shields and their helmets and beating the shit out of people and arresting them. As long as it's not Free Palestine. It's hate speech and you're told to remove a Union flag from a thing because it might cause offence. But it's perfectly acceptable. And no, Met Police, I don't want to listen to your half-arsed excuses. They're waving flags of a known terrorist organisation. Oh, and I know you video and then you put your little things out on old Twitter and you get a few arrests. But you don't do anything while it's there. In fact, you try and help it. But the other thing is, there is a worry that if it does kick off, a lot of police are going to get hurt. But the problem is, Met Police, the way you've behaved over these last few protests and the way you're behaving now, you have no respect from the British public. As it was mentioned on several other podcasts, when the British people realise that their leaders aren't going to help them and their police aren't going to help them, then they'll take matters into their own hands. And that's something you really don't want to happen. None of us want that to happen. Because it will be messy and it will be horrible. We have a huge minority of people who have been allowed in here, thanks to Tony Blair throwing the doors open back in the day to improve Labour's voting. I mean, it's just turned out the guy who's running the peace protest has just recently left his job working for Keir Starmer. Yeah, that's true. I mean, it's almost as good as that bloke who was giving them the police advice on how to deal with the marches, who turns out to be a from the river to the sea kind of dude, and even did a speech. See, the biggest problem we have in the UK now is the enemy is within. We're being attacked from within inside. Because you've degraded those people who would stand on the walls and stop the barbarians coming in, we now have left-wing idiots who've opened the gates and allowed all the barbarians through, and now it's a bit too late. Now, a lot of people who are on that march are the usual faces who march and complain about absolutely everything. There are other people who perhaps feel upset about what's going on in Gaza, but when, as somebody did with the thing, once you actually say, "Oh, well, you're supporting Gaza," they go, "Yeah," and then they say, "Well, actually, before you do this, can I just give you some terms and conditions and explain what you're actually standing up for?" A lot of people don't want to. A lot of people don't really understand what they're supporting. Lovely cup of coffee. They're there because they think they're making a difference. But they're bussing people in from up north. They want to make this a million march. They're going to cause trouble. It's going to happen. What I pray doesn't happen is some idiot doesn't decide to do something really stupid. Because that's the other thing that not a lot of people have thought about, and I've thought about it, because this would be a perfect place to do a horrible thing. Could you imagine the ramifications of that? A bus, a tube, in the middle of the march, the gathering. I'm not going to say what it is because YouTube would ban the video, but I think you know what I mean. Because that's the thing that I think a lot of people aren't thinking about. We have clearly some people who really hate this country. We've imported our own hate. We've imported our own potential downfall. And if I was of their ilk, I would be looking at this in London thinking, very nice juicy target there. Imagine that. I mean, look at it. This situation is tinder dry. Just needs that spark. Saturday is going to be potentially one of the most dangerous flashpoints we've known in a long time. If they touch the cenotaph or even go for the cenotaph, diversity and inclusion program will have disappeared and the truth will be out. It's amazing that when there aren't any protests, the barriers don't need to be around the cenotaph. But there will have to be, and they can't be up now. And that's the other thing. The cenotaph will be exposed because it can't have barriers around it because we've got to lay wreaths to thank our dead, to remember our dead, to remember those people who sacrificed everything. Just think about that for a moment. Who sacrificed everything. Sacrificed for what? People have died on battlefields all over the world. For what? When you're getting people told to, on their taxi, take off their Cross of St. George and their Union flag because it breaks the rules, because it might offend somebody. Wrong. I am genuinely concerned about Saturday. It's also my daughter's birthday, her 9th birthday. So obviously, I have that. And I'm going to be celebrating her birthday. But I'm going to have one eye on the news. I'm praying. Oh God, I'm praying, as we all should, that nothing really does happen. Because if it does happen, this country's going to change. And it's not going to be pretty. And that is what I seriously worry about. Will they use this as another excuse to push another law so none of us can protest? It'll be interesting to see the response of the police. It's dark days. Really is dark days, ladies and gentlemen. In any case, with that, I'm going to bring this one to a close. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, I know it's a very heavy subject, please feel free to like, share, and subscribe to the channel if you would. Not only do I do these sort of videos, I'm also going to talk about films and TV, and there is some gaming coming onto the channel very soon. I should be recording the first few episodes of the new City Skylines 2 in the next couple of days. If you do subscribe, don't forget to hit that bell. There is a comment section down below. Please feel free to let me know what you think. Look, as always, I'll read the comment section clearly. As I start opening my mouth a bit more, I'm attracting people who are intent on doing and saying silly things. From now on, you're just going to get blocked. I can't be doing with it. Unless you've got something reasonable to say, then it's going to get blocked and deleted. I have tried my best to keep my comment section open for everybody to talk, and clearly a lot of people are now beginning to use that as an opportunity to either apply for business. Yeah, I'm not interested in any help running my YouTube channel, thanks very much. And the other things are just, general disgusting, or not even that, it's just trying to be clever and funny, and I can't be asked. So you're going to get blocked. Sadly, because I did try and hope to keep my comment section open for reasonable discussion, but clearly not anymore. And with that, whenever you catch this video, I hope you have a wonderful day, afternoon, or evening. Stay safe, stay well. To those people who I know are going down on Saturday, please stay safe. Please control yourself. Silent, stoic resistance is what's needed. And don't get goaded, because I think they're going to try and really push you to do something stupid so we can get the blame. The media want us to get the blame. They really do. They're already saying the rhetoric of calling us yobs and that. They're itching. They're itching to go for us. So we'll ignore the terrorist supporters. They'll actually criticise their own citizens for being outraged at this. So please be safe. And with that, and as always, I am going to love you and leave you.